Good evening, this is Hound Dog Steve coming to you on January the 31st, and a very warm welcome to all of you. And I certainly hope you're keeping warm. Certainly up here in Canada and the northwest US, we have a polar vortex descending upon us, and so we are looking for a pretty chilly weekend. And speaking of polar vortexes, Matteo Salvini, the head of the Lega Party, is certainly putting a chill on Europe. Now, just recently some judges ruled that he could be charged with kidnapping for holding, I think it was 160 odd migrants on a ship off the coast of Italy. And of course this is basically, this is the way you go after somebody if you can't take them down publicly. Matteo Salvini is extremely popular in Italy, and so is his coalition along with the Five Star Party. Now this is a tactic called, if you can't play the ball, play the man. And so they're going after him, and of course Matteo Salvini has come out immediately. In fact, he went on Facebook and said, yeah, I'm guilty. We don't even need to have a trial. I'm absolutely guilty of the offence as charged, and I will continue to be guilty because that is what I promised when I was elected, that I would keep the migration into Italy at bay until we had a formal policy with the EU. Anyway, this has kind of raised a funny point because the Five Star Party are basically an anti-corruption party. And of course these judges know that, and that this is going to put pressure on them because this puts Matteo Salvini under investigation. Now this of course has to go through the Senate, and the Senate of course is very pro Matteo Salvini, and so I don't think this is going to go anywhere at all. But it is interesting that the Five Star Party has come out and said, no, this is completely different, because this was authorized by the entire government, and if Matteo Salvini is guilty, then we are all guilty. And so this looks like it's going to fall absolutely flat on its face. But I think the thing that I really want to point out here is that how desperate the EU is to unseat this populist movement. They are absolutely scared to death, and they've got no backup plan. And this is so similar to Brexit, because when they put the referendum out there, the yes side was so confident that they were going to win. The Conservative Party never had a backup plan for a no vote. And this is what's happened in the EU. These people in Brussels are so arrogant and so locked in their own echo chamber. They just believe, and this is the danger of echo chambers, you see, because when you shut off all external information that you don't like, you just shut down the messenger instead of paying attention to the message. This is what happens. All of a sudden it's this big surprise because you thought everybody was agreeing with you, because you shut out all opposition. And there is another piece that I'm going to quickly just glance through some of the items, but I think you get the point. And it's about, there is a Nigel Farage in every country in the EU. Now, isn't this what we call a day late and a dollar short? You should have been recognizing this a long time ago. And of course all of this stuff is coming out from the globalists against the backdrop of a virtual revolution taking place in their own countries. Germany is heading into a recession, France is heading into a recession, Italy is already in a recession. This is only going to exacerbate the whole situation. But I mean, here are these people, again, it's the echo chamber. Oh yes, Europe is strong, and globalism is a great idea, and we're going to move forward, and we're not going to undo anything that we've done already. This is what you call willful blindness. So it is absolutely no surprise that they are surprised. They haven't considered any options, they haven't considered any negotiating positions, they haven't even considered what they might want to cede to slow down the revolution, other than a few short-term promises. So anyways, we'll go with these articles, and we'll come back and have a quick wrap-up. Okay, here we go. This week, Matteo Salvini, court rules Italy's deputy PM can be tried for kidnapping. Far-right Interior Minister stands by a decision to hold 177 migrants on boat. Italy's Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini should be tried for aggravated kidnapping for refusing to allow more than 150 migrants to disembark from a rescue ship docked in Sicily, a special court has ruled. The surprise decision means that the controversial politician, also Interior Minister and leader of the far-right Northern Lega Party, is just one step away from facing trial, says The Guardian. He was placed under investigation in August for alleged abuse of power and holding people against their will following a standoff when an Italian Coast Guard ship, Etherium, rescued 177 people, most of them Eritreans, from the Mediterranean Sea. The majority of the migrants were forced to remain on the boat for almost a week despite desperate living conditions aboard, reports Qatar-based newspaper The Gulf Times. Salvini spent 6 days trying to persuade EU leaders to disperse migrants across multiple countries before finally letting them disembark after Ireland, Albania and Italy's Catholic Church agreed to take most of them. Okay, Vice News. I did it and I'll do it again, says Italy's Matteo Salvini about kidnapping migrants. Italy's populist leader Matteo Salvini responds with defiance to a court's recommendation that he stand trial for kidnapping migrants, stating in a Facebook post Thursday, "I did it and I do it again." This is also The Guardian. Matteo Salvini makes U-turn on prospect of facing kidnapping trial. Far-right minister initially welcomed a potential case but now says it should not happen. Matteo Salvini, Italy's far-right interior minister, has asked his government to deny prosecutors the right to try him on potential kidnapping charges over his order to prevent 177 people from disembarking a migrant boat. But down here, this is the Five-Star Party. The Five-Star Party had seemed willing to vote in favour of authorising a trial, but after the publication of Salvini's letter, Luigi Di Maio, the Five-Star Deputy Prime Minister, filed a document with the Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte, formally defending him. If Salvini is responsible for the migrant boat seizure, then the whole government is responsible, the document said. So there we go. It seems that this case will not go forward, but as I said, it is an indication as to how this game is going to play out. The globalists are scared to death of the populists, and they will use anything at their disposal to discredit or deplatform or get out of office any of these populist leaders. So it's going to be an interesting summer, my friends. And to top it all off, this is from Zero Hedge, just a quickie. Italy's GDP has gone into the negative for the last 2 quarters. So a recession is the last thing that Italy needs right now. Worst possible news. Again from The Guardian, a Farage in every country. Barnier warns of the existential threat to the EU. Brexit negotiator urges pro-EU forces to defend the fragile union against populist forces. European Union's Brexit negotiator Michael Barnier has called on pro-EU forces to defend the fragile union from populism, saying there is now a Farage in every country. In a speech at the conference of the powerful centre-right European People's Party, Barnier did not go into details of the deadlocked Brexit negotiations but warned the EU project was under threat. We will have to fight against those who want to demolish Europe with their fear, their populist deceit, he told more than 700 EPP delegates in Helsinki before naming the former UKIP leader Nigel Farage. Farage said, "I thank Mr Barnier for the compliment." And it does, it shows that these people have no idea. So I think this is just more evidence that Europe is crumbling, that the globalists really don't have a clue whatsoever what is going on. They just do not know how to respond when the script is taken away from them and the public start creating the script. And so this is going to be an absolutely crazy summer in Europe and England as we lurch towards the elections for the EU, and I'm sure that things are going to become more and more volatile. And as we saw, Angela Merkel has set the secret police on the leader of the opposition and the opposition party to her, and so yes, they're running scared, and I think you're going to see some interesting things being played out. this summer. So keep your eyes open, and I'll be bringing you as much news as I can find. And so if you enjoyed the information in this video, please comment, like, subscribe, click that big red button. It really does help when you do. And I read as many comments as I can. There is some really great input going on. The comments actually sometimes tell you more about what's going on in the real world than anything else. So anyway, in the meantime, this is Hound Dog Steve signing off. I hope you have a very pleasant evening. You take care, and we'll be talking very, very soon. See you now. Bye.